So guys, if your service business or agency is not growing and you're not acquiring customers at the rate you would like, uh, it doesn't necessarily mean that your service is shoddy or that the market doesn't want or doesn't need your service. But it does mean that you do need a solid growth marketing plan in place. So in this video, I'm gonna give like an example of a solid growth marketing plan for maybe how I would grow a service business, any service business, say over the next 12 months. So I'm just gonna give an example of like a little cleaning company that's out in the middle of, let's say, North Carolina somewhere. You're somewhere out in a small town, but you got some bigger towns kind of close by, nearby, where you could get a lot more business. So let's just get into the strategy. Like, how would I recommend like a solid growth marketing plan for such a service business? Now you can apply this not just to the cleaning company. You could be like a bookkeeping service or like a daycare. This could apply for like a tutoring service. It could apply for a real estate agency. Um, all kinds of service businesses. You name the business, you can take this and run with it. So what I would probably look at is, well, we need to have some solid channels that we can reach our ideal buyer, right? So we gotta know who is our ideal customer. So for example, let's say for this kind of business, our ideal buyer is actually two kinds of people. One, we're looking at the busy professional homeowner who gets home at 5, has to go to bed by like 8 p.m. So really got only 3 hours in the evening. Gotta watch some TV and relax. So they're only down to like 2 hours that they can do anything in the evening. And then the next morning, uh, they get up like 6 a.m. and then they gotta be out the door at 7 to be able to make it to work on time. So they literally only got like 2 hours every day that they could clean, that they could provide for themselves the service that we provide. They are busy. 2 hours, that ain't enough time. They gotta cook, they gotta do the laundry, they gotta take out the trash from from the house and put it up. And if it's winter time, they gotta scrape the driveway. They gotta shovel the driveway and clear out everything. Like, they're literally out of time. So that's one ideal buyer, is the busy professional homeowner, right? So this is someone where we can call up and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, uh, we offer a cleaning service. Are you having any problems keeping your house as clean as you would like, and it's taking up all your time? And so that's someone we can reach. Now, the second type of buyer that we could reach for this kind of account, for this kind of business, is we could reach a business, an entrepreneur. We could reach a guy that owns maybe like a car dealership. Now he's gotta not only clean the cars and keep them shiny for his customers in town so that they can actually buy, but if the place looks like junk, people are literally walking by the car dealership. They don't want no part of that because there's trash in the driveway, there's trash outside that hasn't been picked up for weeks, and because everybody's just dropping off rubbish as they are wandering around the car lot and everything, the place is looking bad. And inside, uh, these floors haven't been swept and mopped for days, weeks. It's starting to look bad. And his salesmen are telling him, we don't have time to go cleaning this stuff. I gotta run after Mrs. Jones and convince her to buy one of these cars. That's how I'm getting paid. The receptionist says, hey, dude, I'm busy. I gotta mend these phones. I'm getting all these calls from people calling up to inquire about cars. And so, do you really want me mopping the floors and not answering these inquiries? And him as the owner manager, he's gotta worry about how are people producing. look at his analytics, make sure everybody is hitting their numbers. He really has no time to be spending on mopping floors and cleaning the toilets. So now we could call him up and say, um, hey Bob, how are you doing? Are you having any trouble keeping your car dealership premises clean? And is this actually driving away customers from your business? And if he's honest with himself, he's gotta kind of admit, like, okay, yeah, I guess I could use some cleaning. What do you guys provide? And we say, hey, we offer our cleaning service right here in North Carolina, around these towns and cities. And we can come out there and meet you tomorrow. How is 9 a.m. for an appointment? So that's another type of guy that we can target. So we're targeting two types of buyers: the residential buyer and the commercial buyer. Now, the next step, now that we got our buyer, we got to look at what channels make sense. Now, there are outbound channels and there are inbound channels. For a business like this, I would really want to kind of like hammer the outbound strongly as like the short-term kind of obvious play, because that's where we can literally get a lead like today. So one really good channel for that would be cold calling. Like we could cold call residences first around our local town, and then the surrounding next 10 towns and cities, and then maybe kind of define some kind of geographical radius by like how many miles, maybe 200 miles. We could probably clean in like a 200-mile radius. We could probably clean in that kind of, if we get an account, we could probably service that. If it's something that's 500 miles out, that's kind of far out to commute, we probably can't get a member of staff to be able to go service that account regularly enough to provide a wonderful service. Unless we're in something remote like Alaska, where there might not be, so many businesses that they could get this service from anyway. So they might be willing to contract with us, because in that kind of scenario, it makes sense to have a wider geographic target area. But if it's the kind of thing where there's enough density of businesses like us that could provide that service out there, we're not gonna bother, because the competition is probably better for those guys closer to that. So we could hammer the phones and do cold calling and reach our town, surrounding 10 towns, and then 200-mile radius. That's a lot of leads. Depending on where you are, that's gonna be a lot of leads, and cold calling is gonna allow you to reach the small businesses that are in those areas, and that's where we're actually gonna be able to pick up orders and accounts, as well as the residential areas. Now, when it comes to residential, you could get really smart, target wealthy neighborhoods, but you can also just target residential areas in general, and also keep the mix really diverse. You don't just focus on one single area, because you never know where need is gonna arise and where people are gonna need your service. Like, you want as much diversification in your neighborhoods that you are targeting, because you simply never know where you're gonna get somebody that needs what you offer right now. So in addition to this cold calling channel, we could also add a cold email channel where we're gonna cold email these businesses. We're gonna send them a little email with the same thing: keeping your premises clean this holiday season. This is very important for the business buyer that we talked about before, because it really helps them with their business objectives. And so we're gonna send a little email and say, hey, this is what we offer. Would you be willing to jump on the phone and kind of talk about how we can help, right? So that's the second channel is gonna be cold email. Now, with cold email, you might want to focus it just on the businesses. It's easier anyhow to get emails for just businesses. It can be a little bit harder getting those emails for consumers, but you can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can actually do it. It just depends on your business and its needs. Like, if you're a tutoring service, you're obviously focused on residential areas, on consumers, not businesses. So you want to be able to find those emails anyway, and send out your cold email campaign. So those would be like kind of like the two core outbound channels I would look at, and I would actually implement and execute. Another great channel we could use now, because we are a local business, is that in our local town we can print something like 5,000 flyers. Depending on how big our town is, and if we can actually do that and get away with doing like 5,000 flyers a week or more, then we want to just kind of go everywhere, all around. Make sure our contact information is on there. Our service is listed. We got a nice picture of a home that's freshly cleaned and looking amazing. We got our company name. And, wherever we are going around the town, we want to be handing out our flyers. Crowded places, parks, by the local business areas, close to restaurants. We just kind of want to be handing out flyers. Hey, how are you doing? And we're handing them out. Hey, how are you today? We're just handing out our flyers. And a lot of these people are gonna not be interested, or just take our flyer and throw it away somewhere in their house, or junk it. But for the homeowner who has a real need, they're gonna remember, and that flyer is gonna keep bothering them as it sits on the table. And they are looking at their dirty house, and they are looking at our very reasonable price, and they're saying, all right, let me finally give these guys a call. And now they actually get in touch and give us a call, and now we have an actual chance at closing some accounts from this flyer. So that would be channel number 3. Now, in addition to these outbound channels, I would also be running some kind of inbound channel. So for something like this, going on Instagram and kind of networking with people around our local town and getting a following there, sharing cleaning tips. This is how you keep your house clean. This is how you keep your porch clean. This is how you keep your windows clean. And this is how you keep your business clean. Now we can actually grow an Instagram page. So I would probably grow like an Instagram page, and then I'd be looking to grow some kind of second, inbound channel, which might be either like a Twitter account, because on Twitter we can get a lot of growth really fast, or it'd be a YouTube channel, because on YouTube you have the advantage that whilst growth is slower than on Twitter, every video that you post kind of has a longer shelf life than a tweet, because a tweet disappears after a while. Hardly anybody reads it after a short while. So it would be one of those. You can kind of pick and choose. With the cleaning service in particular, the visual aspect of it would really lend itself well to doing videos, which would be YouTube. Like when you go to do a job, you can just bring your phone along and make sure you're snapping some pictures, and you're also taking video of the place, and you go on camera and say, hey, this is how we are doing a cleaning here in northern North Carolina. You just kind of show some basics about the job, and then you say, for this kind of place, here are my tips for keeping this kind of house clean, and you go on there 5-10 minutes, you give some tips. So between Instagram and Twitter or YouTube, I'd have 2 inbound channels, and that's how we are actually growing this business, with both outbound channels, 3 outbound channels, and 2 inbound channels. Now, if you wanted to get really fancy and take this marketing strategy to 11, as Spinal Tap, the band, would say, what you would do now is you'd also add some paid ads, retargeting. And how you want to run retargeting is you want to retarget based on the social media platform you're on, whether that's Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. You want to retarget the people that liked your page or subscribed to you or followed you. You want to run a retargeting ad that offers them your service. Say, hey, you can sign up for our service here. And what you find is these people are much, much more likely to sign up to you than everybody else out in the world who has never heard about your business before. So now you've actually got a service business marketing strategy where you can really see a lot of growth over the course of the year. Now, if you need more strategies, tips, discussion, you can join the Millionaire Service Business community. The link will be in the description.